All right, guys. Okay, good morning there. Okay, everyone there. All right. So here is it. Okay, it's a week three, kind of what we call that sessions two of our animation fundamental classes. Okay. So right now, basically, I'm actually go through with your works there, right? Okay, that will actually we actually have been uh, demonstrate to you guys. Okay, in order to have the basics kind of ideas and concept of how actually we are actually going to using Adobe Animate or Adobe Flash to work with our animations there. So the one of the things that I really want to see from you guys, other than learning and also working with this kind of animations, is the 5 frames of rules there, right? Okay, that which actually you guys have been started to develop the motions there. Okay, even though I can see that you guys can actually animate those animations there. Okay, I'm going to go through a little bit more and more here. But the point is right now, I want to see the key guide there. Okay, the key guide structures that made you add those movement each frame. Okay, in order to develop your kind of routine and understanding of workflows when it comes to plan your motions later on. Because most of the people who actually cannot actually or give up or thought they don't actually animate really well because of this kind of understanding there. Because they thought that when they design the characters, they never thought about how to move on or to develop the motion for the characters itself. So, what basically we have that kind of uh, challenges in the futures there, okay? They won't be able to move forward to their kind of understanding. They don't actually write uh, they spend too much time worrying about the motions because when they have basically designed all these kind of characters, they're right. They won't be able to get the right kind of way to move or to create some of the different kind of pose before they're going to animate the characters there. And the other thing is right, Alfie, okay, if you take a look at the bouncing ball over here, all right, your bouncing ball there, okay, the volume when you stretch your kind of ball, your characters changes there. These are the things that we need to avoid. All right, we need to avoid that because normally we don't change the volumes there, especially for the kind of simple kind of shapes. But the characters itself, yes, we can stretch a little bit, but we don't change too much on the volume because otherwise they will look a little bit kind of weird. But some of the cases we can, right? Some of the cases we can because we have to do some a little bit kind of tricks on that. Okay, so careful with those kind of changes of the volume when you actually stretch your squash your characters there, right? Okay, so remember that. So don't actually what we call it change the volumes there. Okay, for example, if you actually using the same kind of shapes, yes, but if you draw them back, if you seems to draw them back there, right? So the methods of working is not that correct, especially for the ball there, okay? Same goes, okay, when it comes to if we want to stretch basically these boxes here, right? These boxes there, right? Right, these boxes there, right? Okay, group them out. If you want to stretch there, okay? Boxes here, stretch, squash, right? Not stretch like this one there, right? Not squash like this one there, right? This one basically we morph there, right? We morph them. Stretch, squash, okay? So we have two, three different kind of same shapes. If we stretch and when we squash, this is the thing that we should do, right? Skew, maybe can. All right, adjust and skew, maybe can there, right? Okay, but we can stretch a little bit also like this, but don't stretch like this one there, right? Because it will look weird with the object itself, right? Okay? So remember that. So when it comes to what we call that, because when we scale down like this one, right, suddenly they become different kind of shapes, become cylinders there. Okay, the ball also the same thing. Ball there, right? When I stretch them up, that's the point. Stretch and squash. See the volume still the same. Okay, remember that. So don't change the the main kind of physical of those characters there, right? Because when you design basically, for example, like okay, normally when I draw using those uh, brushes, okay, I'm going to use pressure strokes there. Use pressure strokes to get the right kind of strokes there, right? This one doesn't have the right. To the pressure strokes, get the right kind of strokes there. So if I want to write down my handwritings, my signatures also can there, okay? So when it comes to design a character, let's just say this is your character, okay? Groups. If I want to stretch them, right? For example, stretch them up, stretch, okay? And skew. The eyes become bigger a bit, right? There. And the mouth become there. Okay? Stretch them up. Cut. This is a part of the works that we can actually develop. When it comes to animate those characters later on, you can pose to pose there. See? It can be. This is the key pose, for example, there, right? Right. If you want to go into more extreme, for examples here, all right? So this is where actually imaginations came from, okay? I'm going to use onion skin. There, example there. See? The motion, more extreme. There we can go more and beyond that if you want to. See? Right. Remember, when we animate the characters, we have to make from the simple object become more interesting there, right? But unless the ball that you create is not basically a ball, they're going to be a what we call that maybe a balloon is more flexible there, or it'll be more like it has a liquid inside the form there, okay? So the physical can be changed depending on the physical of the object itself there, okay? What basically the objects were made there, okay? That made they can be changed the form there, okay? When it comes to the movements there. For example, like when you draw basically this kind of shape there, for example, right? Simple shapes like this. Then you want to move on the shapes there, right? for example here. So different thing there, right? Okay, so like a jelly a bit there, okay, or a flubbers there, right? It can be. So do you guys understand that, right? So when you come to animate those characters, right, the physical, the type, the personalities of your characters will develop that kind of information for the audience to understand who actually these characters is, right? For some of the cases that I actually have done before for my works here, um, okay, you try to take a look at the changes of the motions for these characters, right? Okay, for some of the movements, I'm using the action line or the actions kind of shapes there, right? Okay, to give some sort of different kind of impact on the motions. See there, okay, right? It changed there, right? From the physical form into more abstract kind of shapes there to show the speed. It can be because the animations can be. It can be right anything that you want to do as long as there is a logic in terms of the motions there, not the logic in terms of reality there, right? But when it comes to develop that kind of learning experience and also knowledge to animate those characters, we have to understand first the physical kind of form that develop from that kind of motion. Same goes to this one there, right? Okay, you can see some of the motions there. Okay, the transform, the morphing there, right? Okay. So some of the motions, I just look them up, okay? And also I, what we call that, use a minimum kind of motions there that repeat all together there, okay? So planning those motions is really important in order to develop the whole kind of process of animations later on. Otherwise, you will have a lot of challenges or obstacles, or you might find out, right, okay? You make your own kind of wrong decision. You thought that you will make a wrong decision for your characters. Because why? Because you don't understand well about your design. So when it comes to develop back again our characters, okay, make sure you understand our own design. Okay, for this one there, right? Okay, Alfie, if we check look there, okay, the proportions there, the proportion itself there, we have to improve there, right? So this is not 3/4, right? So I'm going to change that. Uh, I'm going to improvise from this design there back again. Anyone have questions on working with those animations? Can you guys get it how actually going to animate it, right? It's not hard, you know. It's basically it's not hard if you understand the concept of using the tools, lah, right? It's very simple kind of tools that it's very direct kind of tools that exactly. But the most important thing is right now the skill that you can actually use to develop those motions there, your understanding there, right? Your knowledge of understanding that you work with the kind of animations, the motion itself there. Okay? That's why if you take a look at the things that we have to go through, right? The gestures line for your motion for your characters is really important there. Why we have to draw all these kind of motions there? Because we are going to bring back into these characters. Okay, to these characters there. All right. What brushes do you use, Alfie? Sorry, Wenjun, because I'm using Adobe Flash, not Adobe Animate, so I don't have this kind of brushes there. Maybe I'm going to find some Adobe Animate to animate to. So I'm
This
going
one is
to,
also, this one is
yeah,
also the charcoal.
charcoal in Adobe Animate.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm going to install Adobe Animate for you guys directly, so I can explore a bit more on the brushes there, right? So because I know that Adobe Animate have also a quite kind of numbers of features that can make more fancy kind of what we call that look and feel for your design there, okay? So those are the things that I find quite interesting there. Okay. So I find out, okay, if you actually sketch it out your ideas from here, it's good. Okay, that means you have the requirement of the skills there that can be portrayed on our works later on. And of course, for today, I want you guys to improvise. Okay, you have to you basically have draw the motion over here there, right? The pose motion over here. I want to use at least 10 of the motion from this gesture pose to your characters. All right, 10 there, okay? And of course, when I look at this kind of features, there is no three-quarter view. All right, try to draw three-quarter view of your characters there. And using all these three-quarter view to design 10 different poses for your characters there. One of the most important thing when you want to animate your characters there, draw three-quarter pose there, right? Don't portray your character inside profiles when it comes to the movement there. Even though if you want to draw or you want to design their walk cycles later on. Okay? My kind of objective there and the reasons there, okay? Because your characters doesn't look presentable when you present to the audience inside profiles there. It's just like we're looking at the diorama there, okay? They don't actually interact with us. But if you animate those characters in three-quarter view, right, they will look like they interact with the audience there, psychologically there, right? Remember that, okay? So this is where Lin Hei Yu kind of characters there. I'm looking forward to see her. Yeah, I'm going to check back, okay, Alfie kind of, because if I saw some of the uh, lack of proportions of your design here, okay, I believe that we can actually arrange a bit more from here there, right? So we have time there to work on that. Who else here? Jonathan. The same goes to Jonathan. If I right, the proportions there. Careful with the proportion. Maybe this is only a sketch there. Okay, I guess. Okay, I actually assume this is only a rough sketch. Okay, so when it comes to design a model sheet for your characters here, it has to be refined and also if you can see directly, the design itself doesn't have the right kind of balance there. Okay, not balanced enough there, right? Okay? Those are the things that I find. let me see what we call that. So hopefully from here you guys will have we can actually develop more understanding there, okay? Even though this one, okay, is not balanced enough there, okay? You can draw, okay, but the understanding on working with those design has to be improved a little bit from here. Keep on drawing there. For me, keep on drawings. Use the right kind of methods that you work with. The same goes to this one there, right? Okay. Don't draw every frames, but use the same kind of objects to change there. One other method we can use, one there, right? Okay. Yeah, can change. Okay. But when you have change, check again the volumes there. Is it changed or not? We can actually, right, adjust a little bit, right? If the object is not basically, right, a form of the ball there, okay, there's a something inside the soul of the ball there that makes some changes there. It can be. But the basic form has to be the same there. Right? You must be able to see and look and check whether you can actually go into that the same kind of shapes or not later on there, okay? Even though from here, going to change. Yeah, right. See? This one can animate, right? Right. It's going to be fun there if you're playing around with this kind of features there. Animate them post to post, okay? Using what you call that? The 5 frames of rules there, right? Every time that when you draw, when you animate, always work with these 5 frames of rules there first. Okay? Because this is your kind of guideline, your kind of structured, and also your kind of way to manage your motions there. A lot of people doesn't work with this kind of motions, with this kind of what we call that planning there. They will basically will lose a lot of directions there when it comes to animate, and they will take quite a long way to complete an easy kind of task there, right? Even though, okay, if we actually plan this way, you can actually imagine more what are the possibility you can use to develop and to design your motions during the process of complete that scene there, right? You will find a lot of great possibilities that you can actually play with your characters there. This is why we use this kind of rules that works. I've learned it. Some people say thought there's the Q sheet guide already. Q sheets guide there, right? Right, manual traditional animators using this one there, right? Okay, same thing. Okay, right. This one basically based on the slow in, fast out, or slow in, right? If you add more, and slow out there, right? Slow in, or fast out, or slow in there, right? The motions. and slow out. Very smooth kind of motions there. All right. So depending on the timing that you want there, okay. Mm, so we can actually go through with it later on in details there. But at the moment, planning first the motions. Every time when you animate, use the key guide. I want to see those key guide on those motions there. Right. Right now, this one also I didn't see there, right? So I want to see how actually you plan that kind of motions of the key guide for your poses there, okay? For your motion itself. Otherwise, right, there's no point there, right? So Faris, this one you using Adobe Animate, right? For
Yeah.
those characters there? Okay, good.
Yeah.
But using brushes or you using
I use brushes mainly, but sometimes I use the line tool
okay.
for like the straps. You see some of the
Okay.
straps. There.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So you still working with mouse lah?
Yeah, I don't have a tablet yet.
Okay, no problem. As long you feel comfortable with it, right, okay,
Yeah.
you can actually continue with them, okay? You can continue, okay? Because I believe if you have that kind of confidence and to develop any kind of way of working on yourself, right,
Yeah.
it will not distract on your progress. So just continue with it, right?
Uh, okay.
Okay, guys, you can see this one of the example from your friends also, right? Okay, so yes, I would say skills is really important at this stage there, but depending on your level of skill that you want, okay. So when you sketch these characters, you actually have the basic structures that you sketch it out first, or you just draw them straight in Adobe Animate.
For the top left one, that one I just did it straight away, but the bottom one I had like a sketch first.
Okay, can you share with us also your sketches later on? Just update in these folders here. And also don't forget to animations, right? The animation also, I want to see how actually animate those characters are basically the base bouncing ball that you work. Okay. Right, Tara, we working with the characters there. Only one, Tara, Tanya, there, right? Only one character is it? So draw a few more. Right. Okay. Show us basically the key guide, okay, the frames, okay, key guide frames there for those motions here. Okay, those are the things. The efforts that we can see from here, yeah, maybe because she's do a little bit more kind of accessories for the environment there, right? It's a good start, right? But the motion itself there, try to explore a bit more there, Tanya, there, okay? Explore a bit more from here, what you can actually do, right? Because in animations there, again, you have to make your imagination running wild there, okay, when it comes to develop the senses of the motions there, right? Don't restrict into only one rules, but the key guide is important there. Whenever animate, whatever kind of what we call that wild kind of animations, kind of motion that you want to plan to add in for your characters, always plan it well there, right? Okay, don't just use straight ahead of animations there, because as I told you guys, okay, because if you actually animate those characters in your head without planning the motions, all right, showing the planning of the motion, right, okay, you will find in the future, because right now we only working with only one or two kind of scenes there just to test the animation, right, okay. Okay, when it comes to the assignments kind of works that you need to do a few sequence of motions there based on your storyboard there, right, they will actually challenge back again your way of working. If you're not planning it well, you will delay your works and you will find it's quite hard to handle your own characters. Okay? Your characters are going to be your burden. It's not going to be your enjoyment there, okay? Your amusement there, right? Okay? Park there, right? So remember that. Always plan that, right? Okay, the motions there. because most people when they actually design the characters directly, for the first start they enjoy themselves a bit more, right? Because they never thought that they will actually work with that characters for the rest of the what we call that some period of time there, okay? For like us right now, whatever that you guys going to design, you might going to use them for the rest of this semester. Okay, I have one of the students there, okay? I believe that he can draw, he can animate, he can actually create those kind of design. But when you actually over expected what you want, right? Without actually plan and also develop and design and improve and experiment with a lot of possibilities of your own works directly, you will drag the whole thing and suddenly you will lose some interest or maybe you will get carried away directly. Because when I actually working with the characters, okay, when I actually design characters, I always doesn't have, I always feel quite eager to see my characters can be animate as soon as possible, sir. Those are the things I always in mind, right? Because I can't wait to animate those characters there. Those are the things I have in mind here. So for today, for this week exercise, right? I want you guys to work with, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, for example. Okay, you choose one of your characters here, or you can actually draw the whole, okay. If you have two characters you want to work out, go ahead. But my kind of requirement for this week, only 10 different poses from your existing characters there. But for Alfie and also Jonathan, they're right. I want to show you guys how to improve your design over here. Any questions about this one? All right. Quite simple to understand, is it? Are you sure? Or am I talking to myself only there, right? So this one I'm going to set into the symbols there. Okay. And I'm going to delete them. So the first character is here. I'm going to save it to JPEG file there first. Second one. Even though we can actually spend more times, go to import the files here, spend more times working with that design in Photoshop before we get to transfer into Adobe Flash. All right, this one is Alfie. Rename the files, reduce the opacities. This one I can delete that, right? Right click, remove frames. Okay, add new layers. Get the file back again. Okay, check a look there, okay? From here, if I want to draw straight ahead of this design, I can change also the brushes there, make more neat and clean there. Right? So first of all, when you design the characters, understand the shapes of your characters there, the eyes there, okay? You have to spend more time here, okay? What kind of shapes that can be defined your design here. Right, I'm going to right check back again the shapes of it. So normally I'm going to group them up there. Shape of the pupil of those eyes also important there when you design them. Okay. And then the highlight there, okay? You want to design the highlight there, okay? maybe like this. You copy them, right? Modify, transform, flip horizontal. See? The nose shapes. You have to define the nose of the shapes of the nose there, okay? For this character, is it look like this, like this one there, right? You have to define them. The lips there, okay? Too close there, too far there, okay? Has to be look like this one there, right? Even though they look sad a bit. Maybe the nose look like this one there, right? Simple nose there shapes. Then basically the eyebrows there. If there is a style of eyebrow like this one, go ahead, define them. Okay? Rearrange them back. So you have to spend more time for to your design with your design. So the ears, maybe you're going to design a little bit further there. So what I can do right now when I design using this kind of there, I'm going to design the whole shapes there first like this. Copy them, modify, transform, flip horizontals there, and move around here. Try to get some balance there, okay? Between the positions there, right? And then combine them. And then combine them there, right? It's okay if the lines doesn't look quite nice there yet. The ears, right? This is the position of the ears. No detailings. If I want to add some details there, double click. Control, shift, and alternate there. And flip horizontals there. Every single part that I want to use, they want to draw, I will basically going to put them up there, right? Remember that when you draw. So the hair, design the hair structures also is really important there, right? If you cannot get it right at the first stage, I would suggest for you sketch it out first. Right? Group them up. If you say the same kind of shapes, they're going to be symmetrical balance there. Maybe you can change a little bit there if you want to later on. What you can do both of them, right? Okay? Break apart first, group back again, and then this one you can erase if you want to. First, right? Then this one, this little part over here. There, double click. How long does it take there, guys? Not quite long there, right? So I can actually add also from colors there, okay? Color mixes. I can use also color swatches there. Rarely I'm using mixes lah. Sometimes I'm using mixes, sometimes I don't there, okay? Stick to the fill in color bucket there, right? Then the colors of these characters head are going to be okay because I'm using purple there, right? So I'm using a very light, not light, quite bluish kind of shapes there. So if I want to add some shadows, if the highlight came over here, this is basically the shadows there. Sorry, right? Change basically those size of those stroke first, and of course change the one of contrast colors so you can actually write design back again those shades there, right? The shadows there and highlights at the same time. So I'm using a logic only there, okay? But I lock the logics into my own realities there. Select them and color mixes, change. Select them, change there. See? Double click, delete. Double click, delete the right. Shadows there. Right? So you can actually add more shadows areas over here if you want to. Right. Just to play around with the form of the hair strokes there. Right? The highlights, either way, you can use those, right? This kind of styles there to works there, right? To create some highlights there. Depending there, right? But you can actually plan back. If you don't like it, it's okay. What I can do, select them back. I'm using this kind of strokes there right to work. Click shift, delete there, right? Can be. Right? These areas, colors of those skin, right? What happens here? You can send you back by using Control Shift arrow key down. Just now, basically what I did there, okay? I didn't group the lips there, right? There. Group the lips first. Then move on to here. What is this? Delete the right. Yeah. This one, send you back again. Simple there. The way of working. This one, send you back. You see that, guys? How long does it take? Shadows itself. Refine basically your kind of design there, right? Okay. Shadows there. Not much. Yeah. This is only examples that works. And of course, if you want to design basically the clear ideas of those shadows, what you can do, just delete these colors there first. For the skin tone, you have the colors over here. You can actually put it over there. You missed out. And then add the colors over here. Right, I'm going to create some shadows line over here, some shadows line over here, and of course some shadows line. I'm going to be right here. There. Double click, delete. The next thing is the eyes. Also, you can colors if you want to later on. Now, when you see your complete kind of design over here, you can see the proportion is not right. The neck has to be, put them up first over here. Then we saw balance there, guys. Can you see the balance there? The neck is too long. You can actually learn from this kind of observations there. Learn from what you see there, right? Okay. Of course, when you design something like this just now, it looks not balanced there. The neck's too long, and the characters is not balanced enough. They look like very fragile and also can be bullied anytime there. Okay. The characters there. So of course, okay, from here, what I said before, we have to spend more time in our design there. When you love and you spend more times on your kind of designs, you will find yourself with kind of more understanding on your kind of skills. For me, though, if you want to animate these areas, I want to cut out kind of versions there. Something like this one there, right? So I'm sure you guys basically how actually I manage those characters there. Most of them. So modify, transform, flip horizontals there to change. Maybe too big directly. So what I can do, move over this one first like this. This one just to change a bit. So during this process also there, right? I would rather spend my times, oops, not combine them, but groups, shift, move to the right kind of positions there. What I can do next, I can actually join them up by draw them back. Right? Groups there. We're not group this part directly, this one, both of them, group them up, send you back. I can actually start to draw this part directly. Groups, the hands. You're not actually refine also confirm about the hands shapes there, right? So what I can do, so this is how I actually draw the hands. If you don't have enough understanding to draw them, I would suggest for you to design or draw back again the anatomies design there, right? Why actually I leave this one like this? Simple there. I can lock them up and colors, double click, delete, and I can actually design the shadows there at the same time. I can do both of the works at the same time there, right? This one send you back. This one, the color of the shirts there, right? What are the color of the shirts there? So what I can do right now, yeah, maybe I'm going to draw the patterns here. This is basically the colors of the shirts there, right? Maybe. What are the color that can be combined? Maybe blue. Not right. Not nice there, right? It's got blue. Has to be combined also, right? Maybe. You never know. Or maybe white colors there. So chose the right colors also is really important here. Today I want you guys to learn, right, how to refine your design. Change, right? Because it's a shadow from the neck there, right? This one can be arranged, flip horizontals, move towards here. Okay, this one there, right? Block these areas, block these areas there. Then maybe, yes, the combinations of the patterns there has to be synchronized. The colors itself, they color them up. Let me color them. Oh, what you can do from here, because we actually doesn't break apart there, right? Just break apart, but based on grouped kind of windows there, not scene window there, right? I can color them up right here. Those can be colored. Oh, because this one not combining enough. Then color them up there, right? After that, double clicks. Okay, not the same selections there. Double click these areas. If you cannot see selections, double click back again. Sorry, there, right? There. So this kind of routine basically need more attention there on those designs. Even it's not that quite symmetrical there, okay, for those design there, okay. For me at this stage, there is no such thing as problems there. Why? Because some of the mistakes we can't actually right avoid them. See, we can do a lot of things from here to add those kind of details there. By right, I can actually write design, more details there if I want to. Polish it over here. Okay, hey guys, do you guys catch it up there, right? So the legs there. Always refine them there, right? If this one look a bit more like this, right? Group them up first. Copy there, modify, transform, flip horizontals, move around here. If it seems not that quite right, see what we can do, we can scale them back. See, everything can be changed. We made them, we the one who create them there, right? You can do whatever you want. So when we actually combine them, break apart, group, break apart there. See, we break apart there, right? Apart there, group them back, double click, decide because they should be at the back of the shirts there, right? So what colors of those pants there, right? Maybe blue, standard kind of colors there. Then send you back. Okay, almost complete those designs. Right? We refine it well there. So this is the challenge here right now, basically. Those basically the challenges there. What we can do from here. If you portray the legs like this, it shows basically we don't actually understand enough our design. The shoes from front view should be look like this. This is one of the criteria there, right? This is one of the methods of working there, right? How actually I define them, right? The shapes there, right? 1, 2, 3. Front there, okay? And sometimes can be look like this one there, right? 1, 2. The shapes there. Okay, from front there, right? A lot of people have this kind of mistakes there, okay, to draw shoes, right? The shapes of it there, right? Half of the circles, then we can actually draw half of the cylinders there or rectangles there to draw the shoes from front there, foot from the front there, right? What we call that the next positions there, mirror positions. Sometimes we can actually change a bit, right? Any question from there? No? So other than learning the tools, remember, right? We need to learn about design at the same time. Okay? Because when you have this kind of knowledge, easy for you to execute your works. A lot of people think, okay, only learn Flash, or animate directly, but forget about they forget about the learning experience to develop the knowledge. Maybe it look like this one. If I don't satisfied, I'm going to change that. Okay? Or maybe they're going to be look like this one a bit. And I'm going to put first hue, arrange, And then I'm going to resize a bit there to make it more balanced. Okay, now the legs. You should know how to define basically where basically the legs and the thigh there, right? If you guys think, okay, group them up first, center back. Right, the knee are going to be right here. These are going to be the rest of the legs there, right? And of course, maybe he's wearing the what we call that, the socks there, right? Color them up, color them up. Shadows have been fall off to here, logically. How I'm going to get this one? First of all, watch more animes or cartoons. At the same times, develop understanding from creating the source of light and shadow at the same time there, right? So the shoe color may be white colors, but the lows are going to be around gray there, right? Okay? We can add some shadows if you want to there, right? So the next thing is right now, I'm going to copy these areas like that, modify, click horizontal, send to back. Okay, this one, go right here, double click. You can use the same colors and the shadows itself there, right? Maybe a bit more darker there. You see that, guys? From your design Alfie there, right? Okay, I can group them up first. Can you see the difference there? How to refine that? Look,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, right? Yeah, good. This is one a good kind of examples there that I can actually give you guys an example how to refine back again your works. One of the most important thing is always take serious on your design there. Okay, first of all, the second thing is you should know, okay, the model sheet, the guideline that you actually use should help you to develop more understanding when you design your own kind of structures there, because every single characters came from the basic shapes there. So if you don't understand the shapes of your own design, there will be a lot of difficulty for you to move on to next level of creating those kind of structures there. So from here, okay, design the eyes. All right, I want to save the files there first. And this one, maybe I'm going to add into symbols there. Right, character design number one there, right? Okay, why? Because I want to save the files in order to make sure that if anything happens from our process here, okay, I can actually save. I have already saved there, right? Okay, so now log the file first. The eyes from here, okay, the position also have to be changed. The alignment also has been changed there. So right now, if you take a look here, the shapes of the eye should be, half of it are going to be right here. Yeah. This is basically the eyes there. Right? This one too big, right? But you have to test a few run there first. Okay. Do not combine that. Right? You have to test first. To run. So when you right have that kind of understanding, then you can start over with the whole kind of process of right designing back again those structures here. Put them up. That's why we have to sketch it out first. So maybe look like this. The lips. because we have to gather the right kind of positions here. Right. I'm just guessing just now, but it's not right. Okay, a little bit more lowers there. So maybe I can actually adjust it if I want to. This one, these areas has to be this one. Where when I design, I'm using my own kind of understanding that first. But of course, this is not basically the best way, basically, for you to sketch out your ideas there, because some people take wrong way because they thought they can do the same thing like this one there, but they're not. I would say go back into drawing board there, basically. So the eyes positions, the ears positions has to be aligned also. So maybe the ears are going to be right here. There. Group. Okay. So from here, what else there? The hair there, right? Okay. See, right? So the whole thing are going to be a little bit more complex there, right? Okay, than what we've thought there, right? They come to design them. Every alignment that actually have been working on, right? To emphasize on the directions, okay, the more kind of details that we actually, or the more complex kind of shapes that we add in our characters, they will be demanding more kind of attention. That's why, for me, at the beginning of the process, try to get as simple as we can for our design. This one. Otherwise, they will have a lot of difficulties there. Either you want to redesign something more like this, we never know that, right? Okay, so we have to test a few run there first. Right, these positions are going to be this part, maybe there. Let's try first, and then we see the difference there. So even though from back directly, the shapes are going to be changed there, right? The neck areas, but the neck's not going to be end up right here. Right, they're going to be more right here, there, right? So what I can do, okay, this is basically maybe the neck part, right? Have to be changed more there. So maybe this is only a few kind of what we call that test, kind of what we call that design there, okay, that I can actually develop, okay, in a short time. But we have to go through more and more there, right? Maybe the necks are going to be right here a bit, and the hair going to be here. So the body itself, okay, draw the line of actions. I don't see your line of actions there, but to define basically the shapes of the body there, right? So when we design the characters, has to be defined also the shapes of the body first, right? It's going to be the shoes, the legs, and then going to be those shoes there. Okay. The position of the shoulders here, there, right? It's going to be the parts of those. There. like this. And these are going to be the hands. Every single part that you want to draw, it will define. Okay, from side profiles, maybe the hands look like this, right? There, this is the thumb kind of fingers there. It can be changed there, right? But this is basically the whole structures first, before we can refine a bit more and more and more from here. Right. So you have to understand first how to redesign for all the whole thing. This is my kind of sketches there. When I come to draw them back, okay, maybe the structures of your characters has to be defined like this first there, right? Before you're going to work furthermore, okay, this is going to be the legs, the thigh, right, and the knee, and these are going to be the legs there, right? This is basically the thing that you need to define when you design those characters there, the basic structures there, right? The parts that can hold the hands, how long is it basically the hands, the arm itself there, right? All these kind of things has to take a full kind of considerations there. Otherwise, you won't be able to get it right. To draw chibi characters at the same time need more attention, because I believe your design here will closer into more semi cartoons, not chibi, not kawaii kind of characters there. So that's why it will look a bit kind of difficult lah, right? Okay? Especially if your level, your skill that you have is not that kind of ready enough for you to develop this one. Okay, but the way that I saw from what you've been working on right now, you need to practice more on your drawing anatomies, figure drawings, right? A more intensive kind of way, right? Because without build up that kind of understanding, it's difficult for you to design a human characters there. Okay, people who actually design anime humans characters that are so called already, they have the great kind of attentions to work with that kind of anatomies there. But if you draw basically a chibi characters, for example, right, like this one, the basic structures here, right, the neck is coming over here, maybe this body part, right, the shapes of the legs. This is one of the chibi character shapes there. All the measurement line that define the characters has been balanced enough there, right? You take a look here. How many shapes did I use? One, two. Generally there, right? How I define that. From here, same thing. And the eye is there first. It's three-quarter view, okay? Not a front view. Nose, lips. And then the shape of the face. And then if I want to draw those hair, is a girl character, is that right? Eyebrow. And then the body, the record, this is the neck. For example, we draw basically the girl with the dress. I'll simplify a bit. Right, this one, this area is the hands. For example, there it's going to be the of the legs there, right? You see the right, the resembling of those design connections there. Oops, sorry, there, right. On there, like the whole thing. Oops, not this one. Select this one, not this one. Oops, there. So if you have a very good kind of understanding that the whole thing looks balanced there, right? That's why spend more time on developing the structures before you're going to design your characters. From these structures, you can do anything you want there, okay? Even though you want to design a poses for your characters, you have actually understand all the detailing that you need to take care of, right? Okay? When it comes to develop back again your own kind of poster, because we have to understand in and out of your design there, okay? Of your own design before you're going to turn over into any kind of poses there. Okay? So work on that, okay? It will take quite some time there for you to understand, but you have to practice and develop and sketch and draw. All right? I'll learn for so many years based on the working process. Right? I'm doing a lot of this kind of things there. This is your characters. Basically, I've shown you guys how it works there yet today. And at the same time, okay, can you see this kind of design there, right? If I have designed this one characters there, turn over to these areas, break apart backspace, right? Don't break apart too much. If I want to add some shadows right here, design the shadows there. Examples like, let's say the shadows are going to be, would be more like this. Okay, like them. Just the colors there, not too much. Right, these areas here, adjust them to add the shadows. This part also I can actually adjust back again, shadows there. Okay. You draw your own anime styles there, right? And goes to this one. Right, where the colors that you use just now, no problems, double click, eyedroppers, and then change. Double click, continue. Same goes to this one there, right? Logically, this is the areas of shadows there. And you, maybe there, right? Zoom in, change. If these colors is not certain same as this one, it's eyedroppers, and change that. We can actually playing around with this kind of areas if you want to. For example, these areas, just blend with the colors of the shadows. Don't need fancy kind of gradients yet. And we can blend that. Right? Same goes to this one. With the shadows is not hard, okay, because you just have to know, understand where basically the shadows going to be fall off the right. Logically, and you the one who lock them up according to the lighting thing. I used to have this kind of perceptions before this, okay? Because normally shadowing kind of what we call that styles, animators or designers actually have locked them for the animators there. So when I come to the colorist directive process, uh, the colorists just follow exactly what designers and also animators, key animators, right, have done for them, right? Okay. So for us, for you guys, actually has worked independently right now. We learn both sides, okay, because we want to make sure that you guys have this kind of understanding and knowledge there. It doesn't mean that in the futures you only work on your own there, okay? But this kind of knowledge will give you guys a little bit more extra kind of understanding if you want to guide your own team later on. Whether the team want to use shadows or not for their characters animations, depending on how actually right the the potential of the team can carry out this kind of details there. Because some production teams they avoid creating the shadows there, right? Because they're going to be burden the animators that they will run more time there, okay? It's all depending basically on the price of the job itself and demanding from those clients or demanding from the stations there. And or sometimes it's all about the studio itself, okay? If the studio's really demanding all this kind of details because of the way they want to show the quality of their works, you have to follow them. But one of the best thing that you can do, if you can get the position as art directors and creative directors there, even though the directors there, right? Okay, because those kind of qualities, it's not animators to decide. It's all about the people who are actually in charge of them and how practical enough they can actually be used to develop this kind of qualities for their own kind of products there. Right? Okay, guys. So next thing is any questions so far? Because I want to go through with Jonathan kind of design there. Right? To spend more time sketching your ideas there, okay? Refer more on those character styles of animations there. Refer more on the anatomies of the figures itself, right? So make sure you have to spend more time there to develop your characters there, refine them back. Okay? If you check look at how actually working on there, okay, if I want to create all this kind of design back again, I would spend a few hours there, okay, to refine all these characters there and the position of three-quarter view at the same time, right? Okay? If I want to give a little bit kind of examples there, if I have the position like this, so make sure when you design the characters from three-quarter view, okay, either this side or this side, okay. Remember, okay, your characters here, basically this is a front view there, right? This is the center point. The center point for your design for three-quarter view will be changed to here. If he look into the side there, right? This is the curved line that define basically the motion, the position of the characters there. So the eyes here are going to be look a bit more like to the side. Without changing the eyes, kind of shapes there, right? Okay, styles of shape. This one is a bit more smaller. It's the nose, the lips, and the ears are going to be appear right here. This one cannot see the ears anymore, but you have to design the shapes of those. Basically, the shapes of those face there, right? So from here, they will define also your balance of your hairstyles, right? Where we go from here. So there's a lot of different kind of attentions that you have to pay. Okay, how many spike of the heads there, right? It will define the whole structures itself. Okay. See, everything has to be calm there, right? So that's why our characters is our responsibility. So the position from here, three-quarter view, has to be changed. The side will be more bigger than the side there, right? So the hands are going to be a little bit more like this. There. Areas there. Can it be those fingers there, right? And the body shape from here. The legs are going to be look like this one there, right? These are going to be the legs. So this side, the legs are going to be, the foot are going to be look like this one a bit there, right? So character designers will basically is a heart for animations. Okay? It's a sketch structure for your three-quarter view. It has to be refined a bit more from there, right? It's a heart for any productions, right? They have to be developed a bit more further there, right? Any questions there here, Alfie?
No question.
Okay, anyone, okay? You guys can see that, okay? How serious basically we need to understand the basic structures of global design, even though you design a very simple characters there, okay? Because it will define back again how actually you're going to control them back in the future there, right? So there's so much basically you have to take care of, okay? You thought character design is character design, but it's not, right? So you have to do more studies when you saw any character design that you saw outside there directly. Always understand, try to develop those understanding by looking at beyond those design, beyond those kind of features there, or that kind of accessories there, right? Right? So those are basically accessories there. They're only physical appearance there. But beyond that, how they curate them, how they've been designed, this is the way you can study them back. This is a time for you to study them back there, okay? So everyone have their own kind of level of understanding that they can be developed from there. All right. That's why I always, for me in realities, for my own animations, I try to avoid. I love to see some complex kind of design there, okay? But I try to plan it more well because the design that we create, they will affect it the way that we animate them. I don't like to see those animations look like a puppet when they animate them there. But there's a certain kind of circumstances we can actually use them. For example, there, right? Because some of the modern kind of technologies nowadays, like South Park, for example, right? Okay, they use this kind of three-quarter view. They use this kind of cut out kind of animations there, right? Okay, to create that kind of motions. Why? I have a meeting at campus. Okay, you okay? Oh, time flies there, right? Okay, 12:22. I thought it's only 11 something there, right? I upload okay, another character design in Google Classroom. Okay. Which one? Nothing changed there, right? Oh, this refined there, right? Sorry. I'll see, right? Okay. Work back again towards the fundamentals there. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Because spend more time to develop this kind of structures first. I would suggest for you to sketch out your kind of design manually to understand first the whole structures before you transfer into computers there. Or if you want to draw or sketch first, using Photoshop, right? To get the basic structures right, it's more better there, right? Okay. And the other thing is, okay, if you take a look at some of the methods that I actually have shown on my videos or my most of my videos there, okay, some of the videos that I create hopefully can give you more understanding there to create, right, the whole design in a more proper way there, okay? Because you have to spend more time and studies all these kind of fundamental kind of methods there before we're going to add a more complex kind of adding some more complex kind of idea from there. And one of the things that I always do to develop this kind of understanding, I always ask the student to play with a very simple kind of shapes there first to add to design the whole three-dimensional kind of looks and feel for your design. Okay, okay, this is the one of it. Okay, so what we can do from here, I will check basically what we have here. This one, in the file first. Right, this one basically, right? Let's say convert to symbols. Delete, save. This one, select all. Convert to symbols. Convert to symbols there. Save and delete there, right? And goes to this one there, right? Convert to symbols, alpha, lock. When you take a look at this one there, right, John, you understand first the basic structures of the whole shapes. I believe the shapes is going to be look like this. But if you use two different kind of shapes for these characters, for example here, right, this is basic shape there, the whole, this is circles there of the shapes there, you divide into two, right? And you divide into two, right? The body and the heads, right, has to be balanced, because otherwise look like when the head is more bigger, right? Okay? If you have a bigger head, right, it's hard for you to move. It's not look correct. It look like a funny kind of things there, right? Okay? So I believe this is not your main objective there on your design. So you have to be careful with it at first. Now, I want to design the shapes of the head. Grayscales, block. How we can put from here. Plus the eyes there. The shapes of the eyes there, right? Circles or ovals there, right? From here, groups, right? Maybe you can create some highlights over here. To create some highlight also important there, okay? We have to define those kind of design there, right? Otherwise look a bit more weird lah. Groups, right? The eyelash there, right? That define the shapes of it. Also has to be designed well. Don't be simply design them without having the right kind of, because they have been designed. This is all design kind of terms there, right? This is not basically simply kind of way. We just simply design it without having the right kind of positions there from there. So we have balanced them up back again. And I believe that this design will came from these kind of shapes there. Groups, range, all right. I believe from this one, all right. From here, group them up break apart, sorry, direct, put them up, double click, break apart that first, and then combine them. That's a bit on those lines, direct. Okay, where basically the lips are going to be here. Okay. So using Adobe Animate or Adobe Flash, okay, when I actually draw them back using those tablets there, okay, I have a lot of privilege there. The ears from here doesn't appear there, okay? You have to draw the ears back again. Maybe this is the shape of the ears there. Group them up and combine them. There. So this part there, okay, the body part there, half of it. I think this is basically the shapes of the neck, for example. The shapes of the body there, okay, maybe going to be look a bit more like this. Balance them out. But you have to spend more time. When you design, don't take for granted. Okay? I have to design the basic structures there first. Have to balance them up. Where basically the pelvis, the underbody, the underbody, what we call that top of the body is there. Maybe right here. Right, and then the legs going to be right here. Half of it, they're going to be the foot. Okay? Simplify them. Put them up and cut these areas there. Right, and then I can copy that. So I'm using different kind of methods of working with your kind of design, but they basically the same kind of objective there. So the hands, put the shoulders over here, because you want to make these characters look more heroic there, right? So you have to take care a lot of things here first. So the hands are going to be right here, maybe. Groups. And then when people doesn't know how to draw hands, normally they will hide the shapes there, right? Those are the things happens normally. Two parts. Basically, your basic structures of the characters there. So they look a bit more balanced there, right? So you have to take care of all these kind of things there first. So the hair, the head, right? The shapes of the head there, okay? Obviously, I can actually draw something more like this. Not too big, not too small. But it can be redesigned there, okay? You have to take care back again. So you not just simply draw them without having enough understanding. And of course, when I actually designed my first characters, the first rule, avoid having a secondary kind of object there, even though it looks nice. Always ask yourself whether you can animate them or not yet. Those are the things there. Avoid drawing capes first, because those are basically some effect secondary motion for your characters there. The first motion that you have to think of how to animate your characters without having a lot of accessories there. Head also a part of accessories there. Even though we can draw them, hair also is part of accessories there, right? But the point is right now, can you animate the whole thing there, right? Otherwise, they will look stiff there. So redesign them back, improvise them back. You can design anything you want, but understand every single element that you want to add for your characters, accessories, weapons, clothes, wardrobe is a part of your responsibility to animate them. every single parts that you actually try to add as accessories for your characters is your responsibility to animate them. Okay? So don't kill yourself, don't put yourself in the positions. Your characters become your burden. Right? Your characters become your burden there, right? Unless you're ready enough to work on that. So when we design this one, okay, I believe that you're not actually refine all those design there. So what I should say from here, if I want to design this particular kind of what we call that elements there, right? What I can do, I draw first so let me say like this one there, right? Make the head right a little bit more like attached to the head. So they will less responsible there. Right. You know, right, okay, we are not a Final Fantasy kind of character designers yet. Or Zelda kind of character designers yet. Even though all those characters quite interesting, you have to know your level of skills there that require for you guys to design something like that. For the hair, basically, the way that I draw right now, if you take a look there, right, I'm using, let me see the hair strokes. For examples here. Oops. I'm using this one. I can just stretch a little bit, right? Oops. Double clicks, break apart both of them. Okay. Now I can color them up. This one, bring to front and put it right here. So it's not fit enough, so I can change later on. I have to change back again, right? Okay, the design of those head there, right? So how I can change? Depending on the shape itself. Okay, the hair is a bit more bigger there, right? When I design, I'm going to design something like this, but they will fit basically the whole head there. There. So nothing combined here. There, see? So this part, what color we can use? Center back. This one, center back there, right? Left. Right. What else we can do from here? A lot of things. Shadows, line, for examples there. It's not been combined there, right? What happens here? Oh, it's one there, right? Check back again. Double click, center click. This one can be adjusted, right? Small things can be changed. The eyes itself, a lot of things we can do. Double click and double click because why I have using double kind of groups there just now. This part there, okay? What we can do, double click. if I want to draw the eyes kind of shapes there. See? There. Double click and delete the right. Send you back. Can be. Right, this one I can delete. Move over here. Modify, arrange, flip horizontal. Send you back. Guys, this part, we know the rest, how it works. The same thing. They're going to be the same thing there, right? Okay, to design them back. But this is the basic structures before you refine them back there, right? How's it, John?
Yeah, I'm understanding better now.
Okay, good, right? So take serious on the developments here because it will actually affect your kind of way of working later on for your own design there, okay? When actually doing those kind of things, yes, of course, before draw the capes, draw the whole body there first, right? Because the
Yeah.
cape is a part of those accessories there. So what I can do from here, select this part.
This one is it's just a sketch first. I haven't actually refined. I did this in Clip
Okay.
Studio. Yeah.
So when you refine, follow back again, right? Okay, on the what we call that, on the style, on the structures that we have to apply there.
Yeah. Okay.
And the other thing is, okay, same goes to what we have been go through before. Three-quarter view, basically, okay, the basic structures for the three-quarter view here. Right. If this is the shapes, okay, this part, right, three-quarter view, the shapes of the characters are going to be look like this one on the right. So side profiles, this is the eyes. They're going to be look like this. From this side are going to be look like this. Right, the nose, if there is no nose, the lips over here, and then you can draw those. This is the ears, and it's going to be the basically those right shapes for three-quarter view for your design there, right? But basically, it's balanced enough from the sign-off positions. Side profiles, a little bit more tricky there, right? I would say it's quite easy there, right? If you don't enough understanding, but for the shapes at first, the shape from here are going to be look like this bit. They're going to be okay. Here we go. Going to be look like this bit, right? Chubby a little bit there. It's going to be the neck. So the eyes will be, yeah. You almost get it lah for me, right? But there's a few kind of areas, right? Because look a bit more like rough there, right? But I'm afraid that if you don't actually take care carefully, your own design, there will be quite not that responsive for the whole kind of objective of our works there. So right now, oops, the difference there. This is the side profile there, right? The body also, checking back again, the body, right? The shapes of the body here, right? To make it more balanced, right? The hands, arms, right? Same goes to this one, the body part there. Okay, take care of first all the important kind of structures there before going to animate them. Because when you actually don't change, right? Okay? Because a lot of people normally when what I actually have experience there for the students, when I actually show you guys the right way to develop that, okay, suddenly you find quite difficult. Why? Because you don't actually sometimes people don't open up their mind to different kind of options that we give because they find quite difficult there suddenly. Because when they sketch, they find quite fun already, but it's not right. But I do challenge you guys, don't change first. Find the solutions based on what I've shown, develop it more from there. And if you think that you have find interesting there, okay, but you thought, oh, with the timing that I have, quite difficult for me to arrange them back. So search for more new design, but sometimes based from your original design, we can do a lot from there. I can design these characters into more simplified and shape based on the same features, but different kind of shapes there or different kind of forms there. If you take a look at uh, most of those original design that we see from anime or Transformer, for example, or Gundam, okay, they have a super deformed kind of version, right, of Gundam, for example. They have also a super deformed or chibi styles character for most of the Japanese anime characters or game characters. There, right? You saw that, right? How actually they can transform from the real, from the perfect human figures into more stylized chibi character styles there. Okay, based on the same design. Same goes to what you have here. I can use one single shapes here if I want to, based on the same styles and based on the same characters. Okay, this one group. So I'm going to draw the characters here. But more simplified there, for example, there, right? And then what we call that? The head here. And then surprisingly, the body is a bit more simplified, right? For example, oops. And the hands also quite simplified there. Because remember, like animations there, we talking about animations there. Sometimes the styles a bit more simple. I can draw the clip if I want to, right? Just want to have fun with it first. If I don't want to use them, I don't use them. See, different kind of styles, same type of characters we can do. The more obvious thing that we can do from here also, more simplified, right? Right, more wacky kind of looks there. But same came from the same characters but different kind of styles there. We develop different kind of way of working. This is what the creative kind of juice will be flow into your process there. We don't run from the problems there, but we try to find different kind of options in a way for us to play with our design back again, right? So make sure you have this kind of way of working there, right? Okay? Don't run away then, right? Okay? Don't actually jump into the conclusion, oh, it's quite difficult, so I don't want to use this one. You have to remember why you choose the characters in the first place. And when you have that kind of understanding, you will actually face the problem in the futures in a more effective way, right? You know actually how it works there, right, in the futures there. You won't be able to run away anymore, but you will try to dig more and more. And that's where actually you improve, you develop basically your skills. Right, guys? This week, as I mentioned, you guys, even though I didn't like to write down the exercise kind of methods there, right, of brief, but I just explained to you guys from your existing characters. Maybe I'm going to write down again just to remind you guys again. Draw 10 different kind of position or pose, action pose, based on the gesture drawing that you have been working on there, right? Okay? That's all. And if you want to add some colors, go ahead. Add some color scheme from there. That's how actually you can actually learn more and more to refine your characters there before we going to animate them. But we're going to do a few more exercise after this, right? By next week's in terms of animations. But either you want to use your own character design or you want to use the different character design. It's up to you guys there to decide. I love when you guys can make your own decisions there, okay? Bad or wrong decisions doesn't matter. It's a part of the process of learning. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. All right? Don't treat everything that you do has to be perfect all the time. That kind of things won't be able to create your creative kind of juice there. Become creative, you have to make a lot of wrong decisions, but you overcome them back to make sure that you learn from that kind of mistakes there. Okay? Any questions? Any question, you guys? No? So if there are any questions, thank you very much for having me today. All right? Okay, Tanya, improve your characters there. All right? So if I were you, I won't be able to satisfied with those things that I've done there. Okay, I will push more a bit more there, right? So explore a bit more on your design, explore a bit more on your characters there. Try to have fun to develop, to create this kind of development process there first. Okay? Those are the things there, right? So thank you very much. Have a nice day. Have a good weekend and explore more. All right? Thank you very much, guys. All the best.